Trump indictment might mean for America. So I shall use my simple scholar syntopical approach to review a number of respected source articles and create one. And here it is. Because the possibility of a Trump indictment is old news, we shouldn't be surprised it is finally being issued, nor should Donald Trump, regardless of his feigned anger and disbelief. And because the indictment remains sealed, we don't know the specific charges, but legal experts who have followed this slow-motion train wreck tell us that there are significant obstacles to making the serious ones stick. I imagine you already know some of them. Inciting the January 6th attack on the Capitol, interfering in local elections, and using social media to manipulate voter sentiment. And all agree that the hush money charge is venial at worst, but nevertheless has been trotted out because the incriminating evidence is already in the public domain. Most everyone agrees Trump's arraignment will be a media circus, and in the short term, Republican politicians will rally behind him, while the Democrats keep their distance and his poll numbers climb. So what's at stake? Most of the articles focus on the obvious, mostly short-term concerns, which have arguments for or against an indictment. Among them are these: no one is above the law. Even an ex-president must be held accountable. But those against say the hush money charge is trivial, and the indictment is a 2024 election stunt meant to derail Trump's campaign. Another is the danger of riots and demonstrations by Trump supporters if the indictment goes badly. But some analysts say the extremists and the public have learned lessons from the January 6th incident. So demonstrations will be contained. Another concern is that an indictment takes the country into uncharted political territory we don't understand. But the reply to this is America has been through much worse. Our form of government can handle it. And the last I'll mention is the concern that an indictment will add to the country's melees by adding to climate change, Ukrainian war, and China confrontation concerns. That indeed is a possibility, but the country has gone through other anxiety-filled periods. Consider the Vietnam War, the Iran hostage crisis and oil embargo, the Cold War, the Great Financial Meltdown, and COVID-19. The nation got through all of them. There's general agreement that an indictment will strengthen Trump's 2024 candidacy at the expense of his Republican rivals, but it will also strengthen Biden's. Many in the Republican base prefer Biden's centrist ethics and kinder image. You might not hear much commentary about the longer-term issues because the indictment doesn't affect them. And what are those longer-term issues? Many analysts say that internationally, Trump's isolationist and confrontational style are bad for America and its allies. And domestically, he is a divisive, polarizing person who rewards his cronies, manipulates via social media, and disses the press, among other institutions that oppose him. And longer term, what is the impact on the office of the president? Will it erode respect? Political historians remind us that respect is for the office, not the occupant. And when considering presidents, since the 1950s, the office has survived Nixon, Carter, the younger Bush, and Clinton. And what is the impact on our democratic form of government? Analysts agree that the current crop of authoritarian leaders from Russia, China, and Iran is a much bigger threat than the Trump indictment. In fact, many say that the indictment will be a test the entire world can see of how resilient our political system and form of government is, and how well our political institution functions. You'll read and hear much more, probably to the point of boredom, as this political drama plays out. But we should hope that, using an apt political metaphor I've heard elsewhere, it will prove to be merely a pimple on a rhino's behind, so we shouldn't let it bother us too much. And you should make that decision for yourself. So please do. And I hope this podcast provided enough of a summary without boring you. The only thing left for me to say is bye-bye, and thank you for listening. So I'm going to click the End Live Video button, and once again, thank you for listening.